Unleashing community potential, the power of empowerment and collaboration. Welcome to a transformative journey that will challenge your perspective and ignite your passion for change. Today, we're diving deep into the heart of community development and social impact, guided by the extraordinary insights of Michelle Tucker, President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Michelle's visionary leadership has reshaped the landscape of community empowerment, and her work serves as a beacon of hope and a model for transformative change across the nation. Imagine for a moment a world where every individual, regardless of their circumstances, has the opportunity to reach their full potential. A world where communities thrive not just for a fleeting moment, but for generations to come. This isn't just a dream, my friends. It's a reality that Michelle Tucker and her team at the Urban League are building, brick by brick, life by life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another feel good story about community service? What makes this different? Well, buckle up because what I'm about to share with you isn't just inspirational, it's revolutionary. Let's start with a number that might make your jaw drop $150 million. That's the current budget of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, up from a modest $5 million just a few years ago. But here's the kicker, this isn't just about money, it's about impact. It's about transforming over 100,000 lives annually. It's about creating a ripple effect of change that's reshaping entire communities. But how? How does an organization achieve such monumental growth and impact? The answer, my friends, lies in a philosophy that's as simple as it is powerful. We're not just giving people fish, we're teaching them how to fish, and then we're helping them own the pond. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't about handouts, it's about empowerment. It's about creating sustainable, long term change that doesn't just address symptoms, but tackles root causes. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that sounds great in theory, but how does it work in practice? Now, well, let me paint you a picture. Imagine a single mother struggling to make ends meet, trapped in a cycle of low wage jobs and financial instability. The traditional approach might offer her temporary assistance, food stamps, maybe some job placement services. But the Urban League, they're playing a whole different game. They start with workforce development. But we're not talking about just any job training program. We're talking about partnerships with major corporations, creating pipelines of talent that don't just lead to jobs, but to careers. They're providing certification, skills training, and opportunities for advancement that can transform a minimum wage worker into a skilled professional with a future. But it doesn't stop there because they understand that true empowerment isn't just about a paycheck, it's about creating generational wealth. So they couple their workforce development with comprehensive financial literacy programs. They're teaching budgeting, savings, and investment strategies. They're helping people repair their credit scores and understand the power of good financial health. And then they take it a step further. They're not just helping people find housing, they're creating homeowners. Through their housing counseling services, they're guiding individuals through the complex process of homeownership. They're working with banks to secure mortgages, and they're even developing affordable housing units to ensure everyone has access to safe, quality homes. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Urban League isn't doing this alone. They've built a network of over 200 partner organizations, from corporations to nonprofits to government agencies. They've created a collaborative ecosystem of support that can address the multifaceted challenges facing our communities. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but I'm not in St. Louis. How does this apply to me? And that's exactly the question we should be asking because the principles that Michelle and her team are applying in St. Louis are universal. They can be adapted and applied in any community, in any context. So let's break it down. What are the key lessons we can take from this approach? First, it's about vision, it's about seeing potential where others see problems. It's about looking at a struggling neighborhood and seeing not just what it is, but what it could be. It's about looking at an individual facing challenges and seeing not just their current circumstances, but their future possibilities. Second is about holistic thinking. You can't address one issue in isolation. You can't just focus on jobs without considering education. You can't just focus on housing without considering financial literacy. Everything is interconnected, and our solutions need to reflect that reality. Third, it's about empowerment, not entitlement. The goal isn't to create dependency, but to foster independence. It's about giving people the tools they need to build their own success, to become self sufficient, to achieve their dreams. Fourth, it's about collaboration. No one person, no one organization can solve all the problems facing our communities. It takes partnerships, it takes cooperation, it takes a willingness to work together towards a common goal. And finally, it's about persistence. Change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes a willingness to keep pushing forward, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Now, I can almost hear some of you shifting uncomfortably in your seats. Look, this all sounds great, you might be thinking, but I'm not the CEO of a major nonprofit. What can I do? And that's where I want to challenge you, because you don't need to be in a position of power to make a difference. You don't need a big budget or a fancy title to create change. Every single one of us has the power to be a change maker in our own sphere of influence. Maybe it's mentoring a young person in your neighborhood. Maybe it's volunteering at a local community organization. Maybe it's using your professional skills to help a nonprofit improve their operations. Or maybe it's simply being more conscious about where you spend your money, supporting businesses that are making a positive impact in your community. The key is to start where you are with what you have. As Michelle said, everyone has something to contribute. Everyone has a role to play in building stronger communities. But here's the thing, it's not enough to just be inspired. It's not enough to nod our heads and say, that's a great idea. We need to take action. We need to move from inspiration to implementation. So I want to challenge each of you listening right now. Think about your community. Think about the challenges it faces, the potential it holds. Now, ask yourself, what's one thing you can do this week to make a positive impact? It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be world changing, but it has to be something. Maybe it's reaching out to a local nonprofit to see how you can volunteer. Maybe it's organizing a community cleanup day in your neighborhood. Maybe it's starting a mentorship program at your workplace, or maybe it's simply having a conversation with your neighbors about the changes you'd like to see in your community. Whatever it is, commit to it. Write it down. Share it with someone who will hold you accountable. Because here's the truth, change doesn't happen in grand gestures, it happens in small actions, repeated consistently over time. And as you take that first step, remember this, you're not alone. There are people in your community who share your passion, who share your vision for a better future. Seek them out, connect with them, collaborate with them. Because as Michelle showed us, when we work together, there's no limit to what we can achieve. Now, let me share with you a story that illustrates the power of this approach. In one of St. Louis's most challenged neighborhoods, the Urban League launched a comprehensive revitalization project. They didn't just focus on one aspect, they tackled everything from job creation to housing to education to health services. They partnered with local businesses to create job opportunities. They worked with developers to build affordable housing. They collaborated with schools to improve educational outcomes. They brought in healthcare providers to offer essential services. But here's the key, they didn't do this to the community, they did it with the community. They engaged residents at every step, ensuring that the changes reflected the community's needs and aspirations. The result, crime rates dropped, employment rates rose, school performance improved, property values increased. But more than that, there was a palpable shift in the community spirit. People who had once felt hopeless now felt empowered. They saw their neighborhood not as a place to escape from, but as a place to invest in. This is the power of holistic, collaborative, empowerment focused community development. It doesn't just change circumstances, it changes lives, it changes futures, it changes entire communities. But let's be clear, this isn't easy work. It's challenging, it's complex. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to face setbacks and obstacles. But as Michelle Tucker and her team have shown, it's work that can yield extraordinary results. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Michelle talked about the importance of believing in the potential of every individual, every community. And she said something that I think we all need to hear. Sometimes we need to believe in people's potential even before they believe in it themselves. That's a powerful idea, because the truth is we all have moments of doubt. We all have times when we question our abilities, when we wonder if we're really capable of making a difference. But sometimes all it takes is one person believing in us to unlock our potential. So I want to challenge you to be that person for someone else, to see the potential in others even when they can't see it themselves, to believe in the possibility of change, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Because when we do that, when we choose to see the best in others and in our communities, we create a ripple effect of positive change that can transform lives and reshape futures. Imagine a world where every community had its own version of the Urban League, where every neighborhood had a network of support, empowering individuals to reach their full potential, where every person, regardless of their background or circumstances, had the opportunity to thrive. That world is possible, but it won't happen by itself. It requires each of us to step up, to take action, to be the change we want to see in our communities. So I challenge you, no, I dare you to take what you've learned today and put it into action. Reach out to a local community organization and ask how you can help. Start a conversation with your neighbors about the changes you'd like to see. Use your skills, your resources, your influence to make a positive impact. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Seek out collaborators, build partnerships, create your own network of change makers. Because when we come together, when we combine our efforts and our resources, there's no limit to what we can achieve. The future of our communities is in our hands. We have the power to shape it, to transform it, to make it brighter and more equitable for all. So let's get to work. Let's be the change makers our world so desperately needs. Let's create communities where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, to succeed, to reach their full potential. Because when we uplift our communities, we uplift ourselves. When we empower others, we become more powerful. And when we work together to create positive change, we don't just transform our neighborhood, we transform the world. The time for change is now. The power to make that change is in your hands. So go forth, be bold, be courageous, and be the catalyst for the change you want to see in your community. The world is waiting for you to make your mark. What are you waiting for? Let's create a future where every community thrives, where every individual has the opportunity to succeed, and where the power of collaboration and empowerment transforms lives and reshapes destinies. The journey starts now with you, with me, with all of us working together to build a brighter, more equitable future for all. Thank you.